Hello, my name is Riley Bond, and welcome to my TED Talk. It's an honor to be here. Today, I am here to talk to you about making it work. I'm going to explain my journey, starting in freshman year of college, and how 10 years later, I've become the creative director and founder of my own fashion brand. What you see now is the result of years of hard work, obstacles overcome, and getting a clear vision of what I wanted and how I got it. Let's rewind back to college, like I said we would. I grew up in Orlando, so the best and most attainable college to attend was Valencia College, before later transferring to UCF. Up until this point in my life, I knew that I wanted a career that was surrounded by art and fashion, and after some soul searching, I knew the best end goal was to have my own fashion company, or at least have some sort of large responsibility at an already existing company. But there was a problem. Neither UCF or Valencia had any fashion based majors or programs. So I had to get creative with my major. I had to make it work. What I decided was best was getting my AA degree at Valencia in general education. Then, when transferring to UCF, I double majored in marketing and visual arts. This way, studying marketing would give me a strong foundation for the business side of fashion, while visual arts would give me a strong foundation for the design aspect of fashion. Double majoring was very stressful and time consuming. I was working as a waitress at the time, made and sold clothes online, and did some modeling jobs here and there, so I was spread really thin. Thankfully, not only did my family support me in tremendous ways, but so did both the colleges I attended. I was given so much support and resources throughout my time there. The biggest resources I had at Valencia was the Career Center and my guidance counselors. At UCF, that's where I got my connections to help me really get into the fashion world. Although there was no fashion major, there was the Fashion Society, a club made up of people like me who wanted connections and experience in the fashion world without being able to really study it. So, when I wasn't studying for my marketing class exam or finishing my art project, I was at Fashion Society. I was always sort of uncomfortable giving orders growing up, so I knew that since I wanted to be a leader of my own company someday, I needed to get experience then and there. So I made sure that I made enough of an impression year one in Fashion Society so that the next year I could have a larger role in the club. So I did. My second year, I was vice president of the Fashion Society's executive board. Since the Fashion Society ended up working with Orlando Fashion Week production, I met my mentor. A local designer and founder of her own company took a liking to me and we became friends. We still are. She walked me through her own life story and the process of starting her own company. So I made sure to keep in touch, and we'd get lunch sometimes. I'd hear about her days at work and running her company, which only further made me want to do it on my own someday. I'd show her my newest sketches and changes made to my portfolio, and how my website was going. Towards the end of my degree, she said, Riley, I have a paid internship for you waiting as soon as you graduate, until you're ready to spread your own wings. I was elated, and that's what happened. I got my degree, and suddenly I was working in a real company alongside a real designer. She gave me a lot of responsibility. It was a real turning point for me. I wasn't able to work in the design department, silly non compete clauses, so I had responsibility in the sales department and marketing department. At home is where I kept building my online store selling my pieces, until it got big enough to where I could well afford rent based on that alone. So I took the big leap, and my mentor happily accepted my resignation. Next, I really had to build my brand. Starting from scratch meant that I had to wear many hats: designing, marketing, and even customer service. As my website grew, I realized I couldn't wear as many hats as I needed to, so I needed to start delegating. I reached out to my friends from Fashion Society to see if they wanted to be a part of what I was doing. That's where I got my website developer, social media marketer, and my photo shoot coordinator. Now I had a team. It was small, but huge for all of us. We started having pop ups, collaborations with influencers, and eventually our very own fashion house. Something that I also promised myself I would remember was ethics. As my brand grew, it was time to hire a manufacturing company, and I had to be very careful about who I did business with. I had always heard horror stories about fast fashion companies taking advantage of employees that worked at the manufacturers, and I knew I never wanted to be like them. Luckily, I connected with a very trusted manufacturing company who I respect and owe much of my success to. Now, my team has grown. There are 30 members of my team at our fashion house, and we have thousands of employees working at our other locations in the country. My brand is Riley Eliza. Maybe you heard of it, or maybe you haven't. Hopefully, there is someone here wearing my clothes. Who knows? But that is not my point. My point is that you need to push yourself and push through the fear of failing. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it, because people often confuse being a leader with being lonely. If I can do it, you certainly can. Thank you so much for coming today and letting me tell you my story of the last decade. Maybe they'll invite me back in another 10 years so I can share more of my story.